into the red. Let's get right to the head of the Margaret Thatcher Center at Heritage Foundation. He is Nile Gardiner. You heard it, Nile. Surely you can't be happy about this.
Well, I think, the situation for Theresa May is very grim. And so she survived a no-confidence vote in London, although 117 of her own MPs voted against her. A majority of backbench MPs who are not on the ministerial payroll, voted against their own leader of the Conservative Party. And she's been in Brussels all day today, where she has received no concessions whatsoever in terms of a change to the EU withdrawal agreement. So it certainly is a very bleak day, I think, in many respects for the Prime Minister. I think that definitely Britain is heading towards a no-deal Brexit. There's no way that she's going to get her EU Brexit deal through Parliament. I don't think there's any appetite within the Conservative Party for a second referendum. There isn't enough parliamentary support for a Norway-style solution, as actually referenced earlier. I do believe the only realistic way forward now for Britain is a no-deal Brexit on March 29th, 2019.
Yeah, so the UK, the bottom line is, tell me if I'm wrong, the UK will stay handcuffed to some degree to slow growth, no growth, dead in the water Europe. The European court there can basically dictate rules and regulations for Britain, meaning regulating toasters and waffle irons. I mean, here's the thing, Niall, and you've said this too. You don't see tech companies like Apple building new campuses in Europe. They're going to places in the United States instead. And, here's the thing, Niall, you've said it too. It happens once in a generation or every other. A leader comes in and changes it all, Margaret Thatcher. But in the interim, things fall into the tank in between those leaders.
Yes, unfortunately, Liz, certainly Theresa May is no Margaret Thatcher. She has badly handled the negotiations with the European Union. At the same time, I think the EU has been entering these negotiations in an extremely negative, mean-spirited fashion in order to warn other European countries against leaving the European Union. So this is a sort of form of punishment beating being issued from the EU. And certainly under Theresa May's proposal, Britain will be stuck inside the customs union, subject to the rulings of the European Court of Justice. Absolutely unacceptable in my opinion. However, under a no deal, Britain would be completely free of the shackles of the European Union. And why should Britain want to be tied to a sinking EU Titanic, full of high taxes, huge amounts of red tape and regulation, heavy unemployment? Britain is far better off completely outside of the European Union. And as the US ambassador to the United Kingdom said earlier today, that there's a tremendous appetite here in Washington for a US-UK free trade agreement between the world's biggest and fifth largest economies, which would be a force generator for economic prosperity and jobs on both sides of the Atlantic. This is the opportunity that Britain has today, and this is the opportunity that Britain must seize. Okay. Brexit will be great for Britain.
I got to break in here.
It'll be great for America as well.
We're seeing the Dow futures tipping now into the red. Breaking news as well, Niall. Now, leaders in the European Union are saying they do want to work for a speedy new trade deal with Britain to avoid triggering that contentious Irish border guarantee, that backstop problem. We don't want to get into the weeds there. It's about Southern Ireland is part of the EU. Northern Ireland stays with the UK. There's that whole border fight there. You're taking all of that.
Yeah. Right. So the issue of the Northern Ireland backstop has been central to all of these negotiations. And today, what you saw was a divide within the European Union over the possibility of making some kind of legal concession to the United Kingdom. So you had support from some European leaders, for example, the leaders of Austria, Finland, who are urging a more pragmatic approach from the EU. But on the other side, you had figures such as Emmanuel Macron, for example, who has said that absolutely under no circumstances can there be any renegotiation of this deal. And after all, Emmanuel Macron believes that Brexit is a crime, as he calls it. And he has been steadfast against giving any kind of good deal to Great Britain.
As he faces riots in the streets, he says that. Niall.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Macron has huge domestic problems, yet he's going out of his way to make things difficult for Britain at this time, which says it all, really.
You've got European leaders in France, Germany, Italy, Spain under fire. Nile Gardiner, we want to have you back on again soon, sir. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Now to the next breaking news.